Alright, so in the last video we talked about voltage being like pressure, right? It was like pressure, and that pressure may cause the charges to move or may not. If I have an open circuit, by the way, an open circuit is defined as one that's broken, and then there's no path for that to travel. So if I took that and I open it up like this, I would call that an open circuit. Okay? And so we said, well, there's an open circuit, I still have that voltage or that potential difference. It's just not causing it to flow, just like the pipe didn't flow. Now, what happens to that voltage, though, as the pipe starts to transport the water, or in this case the electric charge, right? What happens to that voltage? Well, the voltage before the first element, or the first element here, is always going to be maximum. When I say first element, I mean the first element that can dissipate power, that has a resistance. We said this wire does not have a resistance, right? So when I say before the first element, I'm talking about this light bulb here. So before the first element, okay, the voltage is going to be maximum. So it's going to be 10 volts here, okay, because that wire doesn't have any resistance, so it doesn't slow down the pressure. But then this light bulb is, and after the last element, in this case the first is the last, it's always going to be 0 volts. Okay, so that voltage is going to be 0 volts, and the current is going to keep flowing back here, and the battery is going to step it up again. So how can you have no pressure but the charge keeps moving? Seems kind of strange, right? I mean, don't you need pressure to push the charge back? And the answer is that since this wire has no resistance, it's the same thing as if you were in outer space floating around. You can keep moving without a force because there's no resistance to stop you. So I'm just going to draw that out for a second, just to kind of reiterate what we said. I'm going to take this circuit and I'm going to unravel it here. Okay, I'm going to put the battery like this. I'm going to go across like this, and I'm going to draw the light bulb like this just to show you what we talked about here. So I'm unwrapping it, and let's just pretend like this wire is going to come back at some point and reconnect the circuit here, okay? So let's just pretend like it comes back and just reconnects here, okay? And I'm going to show you what happens to that voltage or that pressure as we go across here. So real quick, rat quick. I'm going to do it like this. So before, okay, it comes to the battery, your voltage is at a minimum, okay? So you should think of this like an escalator, right? This is volts. So before it comes to the first one here, you've got 0 volts here, and let's say that this is the maximum, this is 10 volts here. So before you get to that first element, okay, your voltage is 0, like this, right? Okay. Now this battery right here, remember this is a 10 volt battery, 10 volts. Okay, that's going to step up the voltage. So right away that voltage is going to get stepped up to the maximum level. So that voltage is going to go right up to 10 at that point. Then it's going to stay at 10 until it hits that element. Now we know that the potential before the first element, or the voltage before the first element, is 10 volts. And we know after the last element it's 0 volts. So what's going to happen here is that this light bulb is going to bring it back to 0, and then it's going to stay at 0 all the way across. So it's going to drop all the way back down to 0 like this. It's going to stay at 0 all the way around, right? And that's what that would look like, that this battery actually steps up the energy here and provides the pressure, and then each element starts to dissipate it. Now this is just one element. This is a light bulb. I'm going to get into more later, but remember, before the first element you have maximum voltage, okay, before the first. I call that element in terms of one that can dissipate resistance. And then you're at the minimum, or 0, after the last. In this case the first is the last, but okay, so that's what's going on. Pressure is getting built up. It's maximum, 0. Why does the charge make it back? Because this wire has no resistance in it.